Okay, here we go with the Masterman studio tour. Very dramatic entrance. So this is my studio space. You can see that it doubles as a shrine room for me. Get too stressed out from making comics, I can come out here and have a little sit. So this is actually more of the shrine room space. Nice couch there. Good to have a couch in your studio in case you need to spend a couple hours staring at the ceiling. Stuff on the walls. Oh, there's a painting that I made, let's see, just when I got out of college. I always liked it, but never could, this is the first time I had a wall big enough to hang it on. It's about 7 feet long, so I wasn't a very practical painter. There's my shrine. And over here, you can see the threshold, and we cross over and we come into my actual comic book studio, which is not very large, but gets the job done. So here is a pretty standard setup. I've got my computer, my scanner, and my printer. This kind of reflects my workflow. Let's see if I can actually get a screenshot here. Here you can see on my Mac, I am using Manga Studio, and this is basically what my pencil roughs look like when I use Manga Studio. Well, that's not really liking that screen, is it? Okay. Construction is worked out, perspective, most everything except for line weight. I try to pretty much ignore line weight at this stage because it's a waste of time. I'm going to do it anyway. A lot of times these thumbnails are done on paper. I can just scan them in right there and blow them up on Manga Studio and go right over the top of them. It's just sometimes it's easier and more intuitive for me to do that on paper. I like to go sort of back and forth a lot, which seems like it would be kind of a hassle, but I've sort of streamlined the process. So at this point, this gets printed out a light blue on my big oversized printer onto a board. I go over here to my drafting table. So here you can see that same image, but now essentially what I'm doing here, for lack of a better term, these are pencil finishes. Okay, it's very much like inking. I'm really looking at texture, volume, line weight, that sort of stuff, but I use a pencil instead of inking tools. Why? The question would be why not just use the inking tools? There's a lot of reasons for me. I like the look of the pencil. It's just a little bit softer. I have a little bit more control. One of the things you can do with pencil is it seems to be a little more, it gives you a little more control in terms of line weights, because you can actually make certain lines not only thicker but a little bit darker. So even though it doesn't take up more space on the page, it actually seems to have a little bit more impact. That's very subtle justification, but anyway, so this is what my board looks like when it's totally drawn, and then I would bring it over here and scan it back in, and I would bring it into Photoshop. So here we can see the board in Photoshop, the page, and these are essentially the completed colors on this page. Do all the colors right in Photoshop. I've done some tutorials showing the basic process. It's very straightforward. So here we go, same page, and now it's been colored. So, and I also do the lettering myself on these pages, just in Manga Studio. It actually happens right at the beginning. Not that I'm a fantastic letterer, far from it, but on this particular project I am doing everything but the writing. This book is called Skulldoom Academy. It's written by Brian Turner and Garrett Frawley. So that's basically the kind of workflow I use. Sometimes I do ink work in Manga Studio. Sometimes I will ink by hand. Not too often with that, but I will do it sometimes. Sometimes this is kind of a painterly coloring style. Sometimes I will use more of a cell shading style for coloring. It depends on the project and the look that I want to get. So sitting here in my chair.